Good morning, everybody. I'm Gina Terusio,
I'm Alicia.
I'm TJ.
and we're here with Latah 411. And for those who haven't heard this before, Latah 411 is a great moment for us to show you the true gems in Latah County, Idaho, the businesses and the people behind them. And today I could not be, yeah, that's fair. I could not be more excited to bring you TJ Clevenger. Man, oh man, oh man. We've got what, 7, 8, 10 years, TJ?
At least 10, 12 since I bought the bike shop.
So TJ was on the board of the Chamber of Commerce when I took the job there. And we had one awesome ride in the snow to go to a board meeting. And he was like this the whole time, telling me stories, and it was so awesome. And I remember thinking, I can do this. If I'm surrounded by people like this, I can do it. So TJ, tell us the name of your business and then give us a little nugget about you, please.
My business is Paradise Creek Bicycles. I moved here in 1996 after spending a couple of years in the Persian Gulf, right out of high school. And in 1996, I started to feel the roots of Moscow. I was the manager of the bike shop for a little while. Graduated from the University of Idaho as alumni now. Worked over in Pullman for a couple of years and then came back and purchased my bike shop and decided this was a great place to raise two beautiful girls and have a wonderful relationship, marriage with my wife, Rose.
I remember, I think the trip to the board meeting might have been around or the day of a birth of one of the girls, right? Was it, are we waiting for her to be born or something?
Yeah, absolutely. It was Sam.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
No, Sam was, it was all about the same story, same part of the time I bought the bike shop.
That's one of those things that are stressors, like buying a business, having a baby, getting divorced. You had about.
Oh, yeah, no. Turning 40. I mean, that happened that same year.
Wow.
Right? No, it was interesting. I had really good experience in Idaho, at the University of Idaho. When I was done working at Paradise Creek Bicycles, I just needed a different job for a little while to realize just how much time I wanted to spend here. So it was an all-at-once decision, graduating, buying a business, and leaving my other job. And it was a decision to be part of the community in Moscow. When people ask, hey, why do you start a business? I can say that there's two really legitimate reasons that I wanted to start a business. And one of them was that I wanted to be my own boss. Because the boss kind of determines who gets to contribute to the community. And I wanted to be that guy. I love to contribute to the community, and by being my own boss and having my own store, I was able to do a lot of in-class type activities and be part literally of the Chamber of Commerce. I walk down the street, my wife hates it because I pretty much know everybody through the bike shop, and that's my contribution to the community.
I can say that in that first, I had you for 3 years.
Yeah.
That first 3 years, you were always like in the top 2 or 3 of the people that I would come to if I had a cool idea and I needed to kind of run it by somebody. You were it. And man, I just really appreciate that, because I never really heard no, but I would hear, so what about, or what about let's do this, or how about we, it was just, it was awesome. So you got a fan. I'm your fan for a long time. So,
right. No, I think actually it was you who brought me the Fondo idea.
Oh man.
I think we worked on that one together.
I love that Fondo. We got to get this whole COVID thing out of the way and then do it again.
Right. Yeah, no question. 100%.
So talk to me. You have, and I want to talk a little bit about your business, because I think the way that you have put some things in place is what really makes it awesome. How do you screen potential employees? Tell me about that process.
Well, yeah. So there's a important for getting in place. And I would have to say that charisma and the ability to work within a team and group is one of the most important things. So I know what I need an employee to be able to do, and I've actually documented it in like a 35-point checklist. Okay, wow. It's not a difficult checklist if it's something that you've been doing for a while. I complete the checklist in 20 minutes, 25 minutes. The thing that I want to know is if you don't know how to do the checklist, how you're going to find your information. Are you going to drive people crazy as you look for the solution? Are you going to be a self-starter and look online and the Google machine? And are you going to have the ability to think critically about what the actual problem is and fix it without any help? What do you do when you're stressed out about learning and those types of things? So what I do to screen an employee is I have this 35-point checklist. I give you 1 hour to complete the 35-point checklist with 100% accuracy, including its test ride. And it's not difficult so long as you don't have test anxiety. Right? Not that anybody ever has test anxiety.
No, but, especially not in an interview.
Right. I mean, what could possibly go wrong? I mean, you break a tool, right? So, but there's so much about your character and your personality and the things, your problem-solving skill sets and those types of things that I can tell by putting you into an actual working situation that has almost no risk to me. I tell them you can try up to 5 times to get your bike in less than an hour. So if you wanted to take your first round as a practice test, you still have an hour, but you can go ahead and practice for an hour. And then when you're ready for me to time you for your time, I'm happy to do that too. I really want to make sure that the guys around you want to be around you and don't think we won't talk about you behind your back when you leave.
Oh, way to be
like,
honest.
Oh, hey, this guy was really good. I really thought this guy was answering my questions perfectly. Yeah, no, that guy's probably not going to make it. We just don't have a good sense about him. The team actually helps to make the decision that way without having a formal interview process. And in the end, if you can pass the test, really, you don't have to really deal with customers yet. That's a totally different, screening process that I work through.
Oh, wow.
So, what I love about your business is that whole experience is up above. You do your maintenance up above the floor where all the cool jerseys and that jersey I'm going to come and get one of these days, that whole thing. But when you go up there, you're not interrupting a conversation as much as you are kind of joining into it. I mean, it's amazing that you manage through that harrowing process that you just described to hire not only people who are good at bike repair and troubleshooting and that critical thinking thing, but they're also like decent individuals. And so you don't feel like you're walking into kind of a closed society or anything like that. They're nice people. And, I don't ever have a weird feeling about talking with them or saying, hey, is TJ up here? They're nice people. So
so we have pretty effective, demographics here. I try to keep it so that there are always a couple of ladies to talk to. Conversation about spandex might go differently with me. There's so many things that can go wrong that I'm not even comfortable with, but but I have somebody here that can talk to somebody who's petite or normal size or oversized, males, females. It doesn't matter who you are. The diversity here is effective diversity is the best way to explain it, right? Because everybody who gets a job here because they can do the job and because they can get along well with the team. And the team isn't just one brand of person. The team is literally everybody out there that can kind of be on the same wavelength and that same page. And if you get one of those built properly, boy, I've got 2 employees that are over 10 years working here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
Finding that right team member that fits in with everybody. You can teach the bike maintenance and all that. It's the finding the employee that works well with others. That's the hardest part. That's the most important part.
It is. And finding out who can follow a checklist.
Right.
Right? Like,
And
I
we
have a
go-
checklist
Google
here. I
search.
want you to follow it every single time. When I go into my service department, there's a checklist hanging from every single bike, plus a work order saying what's been done with it, who's done it, and who's safety checked it. Right?
Right.
It's a closed system. Everything gets double checked. I don't have very many returns at all because of that.
Yeah.
And the mechanics don't feel odd about having each other check each other's bikes, and that does something that's from a social dynamic that is really interesting. They hold each other accountable. No, I didn't
Nice.
like the way that brake was adjusted. Here, let me do it again for you. And they don't like to hear that very often.
Yeah.
No.
But when they work really well together, it's because they are keeping each other honest, so to speak. You know.
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was going to cry in this thing today, but that whole spandex thing was awesome. Thank you. Oh, man, that was fun. I can't wait to share that one. So
Right.
when you're having a good day, I'm going to say separate from our COVID times, right? When you're having a good time and you're comfortable and everything's flying along, what is it about owning the business other than, I get it, I cannot see you as somebody else's employee. It just doesn't even fit in my mind.
No, mine either.
What are those key things that you love about your business? What are those pieces?
Well, you know, the best way that I was able to describe, I had a team meeting with my staff about a month ago, and I said, "All right, Anna, you're my manager, man. You're my service department manager, and you are doing both, and you are just building bikes." And at the end of it, they said, "Well, TJ, what is your job exactly?" Right? And I was like, "Well, what exactly?" Because I just literally detailed everybody's job except for mine. And so I got to thinking about it a little bit, and I said, "Well, quite honestly, my job is to be a little bit of an artist, right? And my store is my canvas. And it's what I use to paint my strokes with. And I may need to paint over a few strokes every once in a while, but the beauty of my art is that it comes from inside of me, and it's my ability to tell the community what it is that I have to offer. So you, as employees, are here to help me do what I want, which is to contribute to the communities, to actively engage the communities of Moscow and Pullman in a healthy lifestyle of cycling." How's that?
That's beautiful.
Beautiful.
And that is totally you. That
Right.
is completely you right there. If anybody ever wonders what TJ Clevenger is like, that moment.
Right?
That's awesome. Alicia, do you want to take
TJ
a
the
question?
artist. Tell me, so isn't it Police Bike Week coming up or something?
Yep.
Tell me about that and what you do to get ready for that.
You know, the education component of it is what I'm most interested in. So during that week, a lot of times I'll work with Safe Routes to School. We'll get into the classrooms, and because it's Bike to School Week, the actual spring is when the bike month is.
Yeah.
So we'll have, sometimes we'll set up a repair station outside the shop for people to come in. And I'm more interested in teaching you the ABCs of bicycles and filling up your tires, that type of stuff. But when I get into the classrooms, it's grade level specific type stuff that we work on. You know, with the small kids, what is the most important tool you carry with you every single time? Well, it's always the helmet, of course, right?
Helmet.
We go through and we say, hey, you know, when you come to a crosswalk, how do you know for sure that a car has seen you? And it's always a question that they struggle with a little bit. It's like, well, I don't know. So we'll just pretend there's somebody in the car. What would you do to get their attention? Well, I would wave at them. Yeah. And then when they wave back, you know, they've seen you. So that's like a kindergarten, first grade, second grade, you know, they're starting to kind of figure out bikes kind of to trip planning, calorie counts. We ride to Pullman and back, and that whole week I put in a lot of miles with the schools, and then offer free fills and ABC instruction at Bike Shop.
Yeah.
Very cool.
So I want to veer off topic just a tidge, because you brought it up. Tell me a little bit about Science on Ice and hockey.
Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorite things. Right? Right? Yeah. So Science on Ice is a really cool program that the company I used to work for is now called Meter Group. They used to be called Decagon, but they were working with the University of Idaho, and they put together this program to teach the physics of life to kids using ice rink at the 5th grade level. And so they said, hey, TJ, you seem to be fairly charismatic and good with kids. You think you could teach kids like what F equals MA is? And I was like, oh, maybe. And they're like, well, you can use a slingshot if you want. I'm like, oh, well, hey, okay. And they're going to give you like 2 pounds of dry ice every week. And I was like, oh, dry ice and slingshots? I'm like, oh, yeah. And they're like, can you ice skate, by the way? I was like, yeah, I think I can do that, And so I get to literally play with 5th graders for 3 to 4 hours, shooting stuff down the ice, making measurements, checking to see how cold things are and how that affects everything, and how motion and physics go together with education in a accredited system through the University of Idaho, and this generous donation of, I believe it was close to like $10,000 to bring in students from around the Palouse, all the way from Plummer and Potlatch and Genesee. We get Lewiston, we get Pullman, Moscow. I think there was 50 sessions. No, there were 25 sessions last year with 250 kids or something like that. It was a ton of, it was a lot. It was a pretty good number. So we keep doing that every year this year. And so as far as challenges go, how do I do that and COVID at the same time? Right? I'm going to have to figure out how this whole Zoom thing works out a little bit more effectively.
I'll show you.
And then just watch me play.
I'll show you.
Wow.
All right.
If I can work it, you can do it.
Perfect.
So this kind of answers a couple of our quandaries in this conversation today, showing kind of what your job is. I mean, you definitely are a business owner and, the lead of that business. But as far as that community member piece you mentioned, it's so much it just clicks when you start talking about it. People can see that, business owner and community member, well, I don't know which one is more you, and it's just.
Well, think about all the cool things that I get to do with these guys, right? Like, so I don't know if you've been by the back of the bike shop lately.
No.
Have you seen the back of the shop lately?
Yeah,
you should come walk by it. I had a program, it was called the WOA program with Idaho Parents Unlimited, where there are kids that are transferring that might have learning disabilities of some sort and transferring from high school to the workforce.
Okay.
And I found this, I worked with the state of Idaho and Karen Roan and put together this program where they put art. They gave me 6 different art pieces. And it says Paradise Creek Bicycles, and I paid for half of them, and WOA paid for half of them. They were professionally done because Karen was supervising these guys.
Yeah.
And they gave me these 6 options to look at first, and so I put it up on the Facebook thingy, and it was voted 75% people really like this one, so I put that one up first. And then I called her back and I was like, hey, Karen, what would happen if I was to get the other 5 paintings? Would you give me a deal on those? Because I would put one on the front of my store and one on the awnings. And these kids can do the art again, and they can have so when you talk about community stuff goes, I'm winning in spades because it was time is what it took me to do. I also have 2 autism kids in my store during the school year, 5 days a week. They are not just cleaning. I'm working through the high school, and they send them over with specific goals, such as I have a kid who's one of my favorite, and I hope I'm not crossing lines by giving names, but Neelish, everybody knows him. He has an incredible charisma. His job is, he loves to clean, and I can't keep him from doing that, but he'll come in and he likes to take things apart. And so I'm like, Neelish, take this wheel apart and see how many pieces you can get it into But you can do that after the bathroom is cleaned and your section, your checklist is checked off. And then the goal was to get Neelish to come over and do this job without a supervisor or a helper, is what they call them, right? So for the first month or so, he was with a helper, and the idea was to break him of that and be able to get him to work every day on time, and then to be able to apply for a job. So this guy who has all these, autism-related deals now has a solid resume with no spelling errors that he can give somebody with a letter of recommendation about what his exact skill set is. He worked for me over the summer in trade for a bicycle, so he has transportation.
Wow.
Right, because it was through the
Nice.
school year, and then I found value in the speed that with which when he focuses. He's a team member. Everybody loves him. He's not allowed to be cranky. And I have another kid that has a totally different set of issues that we're working with, and his goal was to be able to work without his headphones on. He did that after day 3. And so now he's doing fixing flat tires, which he thinks is the coolest thing in the world because he's a professional mechanic, and I gave him a bib with some tools in it, right? And so those are the ways that as an owner and a business, I engage my community. That's why I got to be the boss. Nobody else gives me permission to do that stuff.
You were completely cut out for what you do. And I'm not sure if I don't know if it's necessarily a bike shop. I mean, that's, in the time that I've spent with you, you have many passions. It's not just bikes that are your passion. So, okay, maybe you could be a bike shop owner, but I'm pretty sure you could be an educator, or you could be a counselor, or you could be you just are just a quality individual. I'll just say that and sound like I'm a fan, because I am.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So our last question, because we're getting to the time that I always have to stop, which is always my least favorite part of this whole thing. So you're an old man. You're 80 or 90, and you are talking to the young buck that wants to take over Paradise Creek Bicycle, or young woman that wants to take over Paradise Creek Bicycle. What do you tell them? What's your message?
What's my message?
Yeah.
My message is that Paradise Creek Bicycle is your canvas. You need to know how to paint if you're going to do it. And you need to do it, you're going to do it right. And in order to do Paradise Creek Bicycles, you need to be able to do just about anything. You need to be a janitor. You need to be a business owner. You need to be an advocate of safety and cycling. It doesn't have to be bicycles. It can be whatever you want it to be. But the interesting thing about bicycles is that bicycles are 200 years old by design. Okay, they're twice as old as cars. Cars are only 100 years old. And in bicycles, they've never added another shape. It's only been circles and triangles. Every bicycle only holds those 2 shapes. Wow. So knowing that makes me good at business with bicycles. If you have that same passion and you can understand physics and you can understand that there is an infinite number of things to learn about bicycling, then yes, you should definitely take over the shop. But first things first, get your ducks in a row with business, because it is all the other little things. I'm a 20%, my business is 20% bicycles. It's 80% everything else. I have to be able to make sure that the 80%, and it doesn't try to go the other way. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I, the whole time you were talking about the 80%, accounting was what I kept seeing.
Yeah.
That to me is
Business.
such a mega part of a business. I think it would suck all the fun out of the other parts of owning a business.
I'm horrible at it, quite honestly. I'm terrible at accounting. I have a bookkeeper who comes in and we spend time together twice a week. And she says, you don't have money to pay for that yet. I'm like, oh, okay, simple. Make a plan for it. I have an accountant who teaches my bookkeeper how to give him accurate information once a year.
Yeah.
So I am not the best at all of these things. I understand them well enough to look over your shoulder and have this quality communication with you. But as a business owner, there are so many different facets. Like I said, after I'm done with this, I got to go fix the sink. Right?
Fun.
I'm not going to pay somebody else to do that. I could do that myself, right? That's just me being frugal. It's me being, do it myself. Those are the people that do good in business. The people who are absent from it and just think that they can buy a business and watch it from the outside, you're missing the point.
Right.
So tell me about your website. Give me the address or where you're
Yep.
at downtown, social media.
So one real quick thing I want to just address. Because this is something that's coming up for the city of Moscow, and it's really important as well for me because I'm a big part of it. We're getting e-bikes, community e-bikes in the spring, right?
Wow.
So there will be bikes that you can ride around Moscow using your credit card, and I'm going to have the service contract on that, so we'll keep them up and running. The other really cool thing that happens is we have rental bikes that you can ride to Pullman or to Troy, which is awesome both ways.
Yeah.
But those are all found on the ParadiseCreekBicycles.com website. And if you go to the rental page, you can see those rentals are at the University Inn and the Marriott, and also at the downtown location. So there are e-bikes for everybody who wants to ride, because E is equalizer. It equalizes all fitness and all weather related things like headwinds. It makes it fun to ride in the wind.
Wow. Cool.
Nice.
So Zach, I would love to even have a whole nother session on how that's affecting Moscow if you get into that.
Definitely.
The e-bike thing coming is really exciting.
I am all over that. And I think that would be a good session like this, because then we can put it out as a tourism kind of thing too. I've got 3 hours. I'm in Moscow, Idaho. What do I do? So
Perfect.
Yeah.
all over that.
Yeah, no, we need to have that conversation for sure.
Okay.
Definitely.
Well, again, this has been Latah 411, and I think this might be my favorite one, although I say this every time, TJ. But every time I talk to you, I am reminded that I don't talk to you enough, and I appreciate your time today. Again, I'm Gina. You know me.
I'm Alicia.
And my
I'm TJ.
Alicia is the glue that holds this whole craziness together. So thank you for joining us, and TJ again. Thank you.
Awesome. I'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Take care.
Mhm.